Hey guys, you're back with Feynman Education, and today we are gonna continue solving our June 2020 business paper 2, and we are gonna start section C. We've done section B, section A, and today we are gonna do the final section, and that will conclude our paper. So, section C is pretty straightforward. It is an extract based section, as you know, and this time the extract is about Iceland, which is a supermarket basically which sells frozen food. I'll give you time to read the extract on your own, and the basic understanding is that it is successful, it had a sales revenue increase, it has a lot of profits, so they're in a good position in the market. And then they are launching new products such as Mealy cookies, and these are the brand names. It also launched an advertising campaign called the Power of Frozen, and it is developing a new store format called the Food Warehouse. It is a very new concept. It is larger and it will appeal to the more high-end consumers. And lastly, they are using, in order to have some publicity and using it as, I don't know, USP, they're deciding to ban all plastic packaging from their brands by 2023. And a survey shows that a lot of people are agreeing with this decision, and probably it's going to be a good thing for them. So this is basically the extract, and now let's move on to the question answers. So for question 7 part A, it is a one markers. Define the term pressure group. So pressure groups are basically group of people or an organization that is there to make a government or a business change the way it goes about its decision making process. So you can write it's basically an organization that changes the decision making of a government or a business. Alright, moving on for part B. Figure 4 shows information about the change in Iceland's sales revenue. So this is the percentage change in sales revenue each year. And using the information in figure 4, identify the year with the smallest percentage change in the sales revenue. So we can see 2 minus 2.72, so the lowest number is this. So this is the smallest change that ever happened in this period of time. So the year is 2013, so we're just going to write 2013, and that gives us 1 mark. Part C, outline one factor that could influence Iceland's choice of pricing strategy for its range of new products. So they're basically asking me which one factor might influence my supermarket's pricing strategy, or the way I think of, going about my pricing strategy as the supermarket owner. So one factor is that the grocery shop or the supermarket industry is very competitive. It has a lot of competition. So therefore the pricing strategy that Iceland as a supermarket may have to use, it might have to be competitive pricing strategy, which we have learned in pricing strategies in unit 1. So that's what we are going to write. So the supermarket industry is very competitive. You're going to write in full sentences, and therefore they may have to use competitive pricing strategy. So both of these points get you 2 marks. And then for part D, in order to recruit employees for its new the food warehouse stores, Iceland is considering two options. So, as we have seen in the extract, they're opening a new brand of store, which is the food warehouse store, which is larger and more targeted to the high-end customers. So we are going to employ new workers for this store. So option 1 is offer permanent contracts. Option 2 is offer temporary contracts. So justify which one of these two options Iceland should choose. So we basically have to talk about how one of these two options are better, justify it. So let's start with option 1, which is offer permanent contracts. So what happens when we offer permanent contracts? If we offer permanent contracts to the employees in food warehouse, the employees will feel more secured and more reassured in their positions because they're being offered permanent contracts. So employees feel more secured and reassured. And what happens if employees feel more secured and reassured? So remember, we build upon each of our arguments. It's the same drill. So what happens when they feel more secured and reassured? Their work motivation increases. Their loyalty towards, my store is going to increase. Their productivity will increase. And therefore, they will be able to provide better service to the customers, and my customer base will increase. So higher motivation, higher productivity, higher customer service, and all of these will lead to higher customer base. Now, how is this again benefiting me? If this is the case, then my sales will increase, profits will increase. Okay, now for my however point for option 1, what are the bad things? So the food warehouse is a entirely new concept in the supermarket industry. Nobody has ever tried it before, so it might be unsuccessful. There is a chance it might not work out, and if it does not work out, then the permanent employees will be underused and they will just add to the costs of the business. So my concept might not work out, it might be unsuccessful, and in that case the employees will be an extra cost to the business. This is my however point. Now, just to give you a base for option 2. For option 2, we are hiring temporary workers. What happens when you hire temporary workers? They will give the workers more flexibility. And it's a better thing because it might not be successful. So in that case, we can lay off workers. Okay, so more flexibility, lay off if not successful. All right, and what happens due to this? How is this a benefit for me? So me as the business owner, if I give out temporary contracts, I can lay them off. I can even renew their contracts if they demand, if they want to work more, or I can end their contracts if my customer base is lower and I have to close my stores. So this does not involve extra costs. Oops. Now my however point. How is temporary employment a bad thing? they might not be, fully motivated, or they might not be fully loyal to my companies because we are not giving them any security. So it might result into lower productivity, and it might hamper their customer service, and this might be bad for my business. So no security, just exact opposite of permanent workers. Poor motivation, lower service, and therefore lower sales. So overall, if I had to choose, honestly, I would go with option one, because I would justify it saying that, worker motivation is going to be there, and it will, enhance my customer service, which is my main goal, and therefore it will allow me to gain more sales. So that is it basically for your 9 marker. And moving on to the last 12 marker, part E. Evaluate whether Iceland is likely to benefit from its decision to ban all plastic packaging on its own brand products. You should use information provided as well as your own knowledge of business. So towards the end of the extract, if you read it, we see that they're, going into a more sustainable way of marketing. So they're gonna ban all plastic packaging in their own brand. So we are gonna have to evaluate if this is going to be a good thing or a bad thing. So firstly, let's if you start. So banning plastic packaging on their own brand products is basically their unique selling point. They're using it as a marketing strategy. So firstly, banning plastic packaging is a USP for Iceland. And now we're gonna say why this is a USP. So in order to develop on that, this is a USP because, the meals and the packages will now stand out to more customers who are, ethical in their mind. And it's a USP in terms of their competition as well, such as other supermarkets like Tesco or Walmart and stuff like that. So stand out more to ethical customers and competition against rivals. All right. And if this is the case, Iceland's, profits are going to increase. They are banning plastic, so their costs are going to decrease, and their competitiveness is going to increase. So lower costs, higher sales, higher profits. Now these are the good things. What are my bad things? So Iceland, as we have seen in the extract, if you go back, so they're making this change and they are expecting to do this by 2023. And well, this paper, now we are in 2023, but this paper was for 2020. So for that, 2023 was in the future, 3 years. So what we can say is Iceland is making this change and it will not happen until 2023. And there is a time lag. By that time, their competition might also make similar changes. And in that case, this entire strategy is not going to work. So the concept of time lag, whatever I said, you're going to explain it, and then similar strategies may be adopted by their competition and therefore it may not work. All right, this is my 1 BLT, and now we will go on to our second and my last BLT, which is another same points. So what is another advantage? So if we change the packaging, it may increase the variable cost. So if we do we can flip the coin and we can talk about the disadvantages. So if we change our packaging system, it may increase our variable costs, so higher variable costs. Now, how are higher variable costs a problem, and why will we incur higher variable costs? So we will incur higher variable costs because now instead of plastic we have to use special paper based packaging, and we have to get them from somewhere, and we have to package our products in a different way than those of our rivals, and it may be more expensive. So we have to use a different packaging system and it may be more expensive. Now, if this is more expensive, my total costs are going to rise. And if my total costs rise, I may have to increase my prices to, maintain my profit margins, and this will make me lose my competitive edge over my rivals. So for this, I may have to increase prices because costs are now higher, and this will mean lower competitive edge. Now, however, I wrote disadvantages. Now, what is one however point of that? Changing packaging may only increase packaging costs, less than proportionately. The costs associated with it might not be very big, but the advantages associated with this, change in my packaging might be higher, and it will give me more brand recognition, as we've said, USP. So therefore my profit margins might increase because I will be able to charge premium prices, and I will be able to retain my competitive edge. So basically, let's say advantages may outweigh costs, USP, brand recognition, because I am, being different. I am appealing to my more ethically minded consumers, and therefore I will be able to, charge premium price because of my brand recognition, and therefore higher profits. So this is a 12 marker. We can lastly end with a conclusion saying that overall, I feel like the decision to change from plastic packaging to its own brand products to a different sort of packaging is going to prove to be beneficial for Iceland, because it's going to appeal more to my ethically minded consumers, plus it's a good marketing strategy. So overall, it's going to increase my competitive edge, serve as a USP, serve as a brand image, and therefore it's going to increase my profit margins. And you can end with that. And you will get your 12 marks. So this is basically it. And that was our last question, and that ends this paper. And next time we're gonna come back with a different paper. I think we're gonna do paper 1 again, since we did paper 2 now. And yep, keep practicing. Good luck.